Woo, welcome to the second hour of Lovebabz, Love Talk on Babz Rawls-Ivy. Listen, we play the music up in this piece. Good morning, Enroue. How are
Good morning.
you?
Good morning, Babs. I'm doing all right.
Happy
Now that
March.
little sweet honey in the rock, that's a wonderful way to do a little boosting up. It's a good
You
thing.
know, I needed it because it's been a struggle lately, and I just needed that little
Mm,
uplift that just
mm,
carried me a little further.
mm,
So,
mm,
so how are you?
mm. Doing all right. Juggling the things, trying not to get lost in them, trying to stay oriented. So like actually the thing that really resonated in that last piece of Sweet Honey, right? This light, right? So keep reorienting towards that. What is that light, and can I allow it to shine, right? I don't
Mhm.
actually need. I think it's easy to get involved in like, okay, I gotta like make it bigger, right? I gotta make the light, push the light, and infuse the light, and often it's about like letting it shine, kind of getting out of its way and letting the term it's used in a lot of meditation and yoga, namaste, right? The light in me sees the light in you. So like
Mhm.
allowing that to radiate, to feel it. Like, can I feel it and allow that? Can I not just can I see it in you, but can I even see it in me and let it be and get out of the way so it can just so that it can be in the world. And my
Yeah.
light has its place. Your light has its place. Yours is not better than mine. Mine's not better than yours. Can we be with ours and each other's and this light that is also here, right? That gets hidden by all the hurts and complexities and stresses and strains and systems and policies and practices, suffering. So, yes, that's how I'm doing.
That's a that's a that's a mighty word. That brings us right to the call because you got to do you
Yes, it
know
does.
the
It does.
call, and then we
Right?
can pick up on talking more about
Yeah,
allowing
that's right.
light to lead.
Yeah. And so if we recognize, right, these are ways, right, the ashe that our ancestors have left for us. Maybe that's also right the tools and the ways for us to shine, to see, to feel, to experience, to allow our light to be. That's part of what they've left for us. The I'm doing it today is the right. I'm using those things to allow that light to be, to shine, to for me to witness as well as to express it. So yes, we'll start there or continue there. Mama tofu wa she o. Mama tofu wa she. Mama tofu wa she o. Mama tofu wa she. Ashe te fuan lan lo hi o. Mama tofu wa. Ba ye ye tofu wa she o. Aye ye tofu wa she. Aye ye tofu wa she ohu. Aye ye tofu she ashe te fuan lando hiu. Aye ye tofu wa. Bai gung gung tofu wa she o. Bai gung gung tofu she. Bai gung gung tofu wa she o. Bai gung gung tofu. Yashe te fuan lan lo hiu. Bai gung gung tofu wa. Bai gung gung Go from Washi. I go from Washi.
Shay. Ah, thank you for
Yes.
that.
Yes. I'm using it today.
I love it.
Mm.
That felt like the light was shining through.
Yes, it did. It did. Sometimes I think that's here's this important part of ritual, right? That I've chanted that enough. I don't have to think so much about like the words and the tones and the things, and so I can actually like feel into it more, right? And like allow, right, that light, allow the presence, allow the like expression of myself in that to also be present, and not just like, oh, here's the delivery of the chant. I can do this way, right? Like I can be with like the subtle nuances that not necessarily anybody else is with, but like it's moving, right? So the ritual is like, oh, here's this container that then allows a lot of space in it, um, for all the varieties of the prism light to shine, to be felt, to be expressed. I think it's an interesting thing, like light to be felt, right? I think that's an interesting mixing of sensations, right? Feeling, what does it mean to feel light? To feel that light, the light that's shining, right? This light of mine, letting it shine. And it's little, doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world.
It could be candlelight, right? Like it could be as small or as simple as candlelight, or it could be as bright as the moon or the sun. It could be, I mean,
think about like, even if you're like in a huge auditorium that's pitch black, one little candlelight, you see it.
yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean you can, if it's away across the room, you read by, be like, oh, look, there's light, right? All of a sudden, it's not just that thickness or the darkness there, but oh yeah, you don't need a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's always the lesson for people, that you don't need a lot, you know. And I think I see that with people who think all the ducks have to be lined up. Everything has to be in order. Everything has to be perfect for them to whatever. And
To feel,
yeah.
to be. I mean, for me, I've done a lot of doing things in my life, done a lot of things. And at this particular time, like learning how to like be in the world in a different way is kind of the leading thing, right? That's actually the more important thing for me. Because then I can like be with myself. I can be with the other people who really matter to me. Even be with the things that I'm doing differently. And keep allowing myself to be reminded of being present in this life, this precious life. I've said it once, said it, I'm going to keep saying it, say it a lot of times. Like, this is a temporary, precious thing we're here for. The wondrous thing larger than us. And I'm not going to be here in 100 years. In 100 years, in the scheme of things, is super tiny, right? So
Yeah.
if I can really be here, that's something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me draw on these techniques, ashe, and tools and strategies, practices that my people have done to really try to be here and undo the things that have gotten in the way of them being here, right? These things around trauma and addiction, fear, and things that have gotten in the way that made it hard to feel like to be here. Real stuff.
Yeah. I like that. I like this track that we're on right now. That it's in the way, right? Like we could remove it.
Well, I think that there are I think that it's important to engage in that question, like what can be removed, what can't be removed, and again,
Mm.
it actually doesn't. Everything doesn't have to be perfect to do a little thing, right? What's in the way of the there's the it's a different experience if in a like if we're simultaneously looking at what's in the way outside of us and what's in the way inside of us. And it's very easy to get confused about the two of those things. If, as a young person, I can't literally, the control, there's so much more out of my control. Oh, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? How am I going to get all the adults telling you, right, how you should be living, what you should be doing. Just the thing. So there's a lot of external guidance and limitations there. And so that conversation or that exploration about what's kind of in your control or not is different. And there's still internal capacity. What's in my control, what's not in my control. And if I'm not clear about it, then as an adult, right, I'll treat the things that are less in my control as if I should be in control of those things, right? Or I might look at the things that are internally like, oh, I could actually make some change. And I might feel like, oh, it's your fault. This is an external thing that's causing me to feel this way. And, there are very real systems in place that can be limiting to human, very real. And they're very real internalized things that we have taken on and adopted, right? So that the no comes from us long before we experience it inside of ourselves. Protective measure, right? Protection from trauma or harm, right? You like touch the hot thing, you're like, well, I'm not going to get within 3 feet of that, right? Just to be safe, right? Yet we then, what if a thing we want is like only a foot away from that hot thing, right? And if we're just like, nope, I just can't do it, right? It's too hot, I can't do it. We are preventing ourselves from getting that good thing because actually a foot away is safe. We could just get the good thing and we'll come back. But if we've internalized just the like, you got to keep the 3-foot orb of space between yourself and the dangerous thing, then you miss out on what might else be in there.
Wow.
And that's on us.
I like this thinking because I could see how addiction and all the other things that keep people from the things that they want,
Mm-hmm.
um, um, can give them a path a little bit forward.
Right, right. And it takes, so that's where the like, oh, am I putting up the barrier? And if I actually am, I think this is where some of the self-awareness or a yearning or turning inwards is helpful. If I'm yearning for closeness, that actually says to me my system is actually wanting that. My
Mm.
my brain or my like hypervigilance might be saying, well, no, that's dangerous. You don't want to get really close to people because you could get hurt. And hurt means a certain thing based on past experiences. Yet our system is like, well, but I keep getting close to people. I keep wanting to be connected. I keep wanting these relationships. And so then it means, oh, I got to do it differently. Maybe it's, in when I was a therapist, a lot of people would say like, well, how do I know? Like, I like this person, but I'm nervous about it. But I don't know if the nervousness is just because I'm actually getting close to my feelings, period, or if that person is somebody I shouldn't be around.
Oh,
And it's a confusing place, right? And I was like, that is a great, rich place to be in. And some of that is just really exploring for many people in that moment, the discomfort at having and being with their feelings, which are fundamentally out of their control, is the thing that's kind of raising the danger signs. Like, oh, don't do that. Don't really let yourself feel, because you could get yourself in a situation that is then emotionally harmful. Because these things in the past happened when you were a kid and you just wanted to be loved, and the loved ones around you couldn't see you, right, or hurt you or did the thing, right? So We internalize that narrative as what's possible. Yet our system wants more. Our system wants to unfold. Our system, our body, like our mind, our heart, our body, and our spirit. That's what I mean by our system. Wants connection, wants to explore, wants closeness. So then it's a learning of like, let me take a little step in that direction. You don't have to jump all in. Most people, what they do, well, okay, I'm just going to jump all in. I'll move in with the person and give them my bank accounts and here's all the things and take my heart, right? That's, that's not a good idea. Take a little step. Notice what happens, right? And you have some courage? Can you do a little testing? Can you show up in the relationship? Can you show up in life in the way that you want it to be? And then if there's a challenge to it, you can then deal with that from the present, right? From really looking at it, from being with what's going on, instead of a story about it or just a fear. So those little things help us to, oh, maybe I can be with this discomfort a little bit more. Maybe I'm really nervous about really saying how I feel to this person. Maybe I'll just try it out a little bit. I'll see what happens. I used to be very sarcastic. That was like a default of mine. And I realized when I started really looking at patterns that I was in, this is kind of coming out of depression and anxiety and all the bottom of the pit that I was in. And I was like, oh, I really need to like get my stuff together, because there's a lot in the way of being here. There's a lot of hiding I do. There's a lot of masks I wear. There's a lot of like not admitting to people how I really felt about something, because I felt it was risky. And if I don't really tell people if I really like something or not, right? They can't take it away. They can't manipulate me. They can't like tease me with it or whatever. And so there's a lot of distancing I did. And so sarcasm was a part of that. Because if I'm sarcastic, I don't actually have to take accountability for what I'm saying or how the other person receives it. I could be a little bit more honest, but if I kind of say it sarcastically, if they take it the wrong way, I'd be like, oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just being sarcastic. And if they take it the way I kind of want them to take it underneath, I'm like, oh, good. I kind of safely delivered the message. I've hidden, right? Camouflaged. And I realized that like fundamentally that was about hiding and lying. And if I really want to be here and really see what this life is about and who am I, what am I about, then I need to deal with that differently. It takes some of these risks. I need to think about and feel into like, well, what do I need? Can I be with myself? Can I care about myself? Can I nourish and nurture myself? Can I love myself? Can I at least, even if I can't jump to loving myself, can I at least not undermine myself? Can I not be mean to myself? Can I not shame myself? And then slowly kind of build into having a life.
That's so illuminating. That
Light.
level of awareness, right? Like, that's so illuminating. Light. We're talking about light here, so of course it's illuminating,
right? But it doesn't take a lot. But that's the thing. Like, it doesn't take a lot. Like that little light is like, oh, maybe there's something there. We look at ourselves. Maybe there's a little caring person in there. Maybe I could be with this person in a way that's just okay. That doesn't have to be about like posturing or power over or nothing can hurt me, right? Dismissing things. Like maybe I can be really present. Maybe I can be even vulnerable with myself to even feel what I'm feeling. And it takes time and patience and practice so that you then have skill in navigating the complexity of what it means to be a feeling human being. Versus, I'll allow this feeling and that one. If it's not there, I'm going to numb it out or I'm going to jam it into there. I'm not gonna feel hurt. I'm gonna feel mad. I'm not gonna feel confused. I'm gonna feel mad. I'll feel joy and ecstasy and mad and maybe sad if it's really bad. You know, a little tear trickle down if my team lost something. You know, I'll live that. Or if a really beloved person passed away, I'll allow a little hard mask till tear trickle down. Maybe. Other than that, everything's good. Just keep on keeping on, right? How much? That's no way to live. And while there's circumstances in place that are outside of our control, we have much more capacity than we have much more capacity than we to be here, to be present, to be not just to be like a soft puddle of like a wash in emotions in the corner, just like I'm just feeling all the things, right? But like really be here with the complexity of what this means. Because it's okay.
That wow, that is rich. And it's like a muscle though, right? Like
Yes.
you
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is. And that's the practice, right? So even for me, I mean, I'll be 55 this year.
woohoo.
I had like coming out of like the worst of the worst, I think I was about 22. It was between like 20, between that 2 year period was, I was just like digging into the pit and like slowly extracting out, right? But there was no like final emergence within those 2 years. But it was this, oh, let me see a therapist. Let me go to some 12-step programs. Let me like get sober, right? let me do these very concrete things so that I can even orient to like what is like, because there's so much in the way of, right? Is there light in there? I don't know. I've just been like, well, how do I need to show up? All right, this is how I need to show up. I'll do it that way. Oh, over here. Okay, now I'm gonna show up this way over here. Like there was no, what do you need today? Like I would have, if someone asked me that at that age, I would have been like, I need to like tune out. Like that's what I need because all this is just too much. And so the notion of like that inward reflection, that inward gaze and feeling, like what's in there? What do I need? Where is there space for me in this world? Really for me? Really? Like, and you know, so some of these get into these big questions around like life and meaning and purpose. But we deserve to be able to ask those questions. That is a part of our right to being alive. We get to ask those questions. Why am I here? How can I be here to the fullest capacity as I can? We've got all these messages that tell us no. And yet it is our part of our, I fundamentally believe, part of our birthright for that also to be folded into our day to day. Even as like, oh, I got to go grocery shopping, I got to do things, got to do this. Yeah, and right, that's the day to day, right? You got to eat well, you got to sleep, right? That's got to be done. And what does this mean to be here, to be a person? Where did I come from? How does that inform me? And I'd really be present now in this moment so that the steps that I take that lead to what will come are also in harmony and supportive and nourishing and nurturing. I make those decisions in the present that are skillful, that will continue to help me to be sustainable, to really live to the best of my ability with the things that are completely out of my control and the things that are in my control. And you know, that's this piece of the serenity prayer. You know, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. And it doesn't mean, oh, I feel like, oppressive systems I can't change, so I guess I just have to, be serene about it. It's like, oh no, let me really explore and investigate and be curious and move in a direction of what maybe I can change more than I think I can. But let me be able to discern that. I can't, if I go down to the ocean, I'm like, I want it to be 10 degrees warmer in the water. It's too cold. Okay, you just better get serene about what it is and then make some choices whether you're going in or not, right? So that's not in that moment as an individual in your control. Can I be with this person? Oh, they're having their own feelings. Can I be present with them having their?
I
Can I be
like
present?
that.
See where we meet.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that's all of this practice, right? This it's a muscle, but it's like walking, right? We're born, didn't know how to do that, didn't have the capacity for it. Most of us were able to then do that. So you could say like, well, walking is a muscle, right? Or speaking is a muscle, or like sensing and feeling, or hear these muscles, but they're also just the ways that we're people. Not that it's, I say that the may because like, us being a person is not hinged on being able to walk, right? There are plenty of folks who can't walk who are still people. Let's be real. But as we talk about um, our senses, we use them, so they work. But we don't have to like, I gotta work on tasting. I really gotta practice tasting what this is like, right? It's can discern, right? The skill of discerning taste, right? That it's its own skill, so based on some capacity. But this looking inwards, this honoring what's inside, looking out to recognize what's around us, present with it, to make some decisions. This helping me to see, get back to this light, right? To see my own light, to feel my own light. Is this supporting that? Is this supporting the expression of that light? Can I see that in others? Can I feel that in others? Can I be? I think we can.
I think so too. I don't think it's ever been presented this way for people, but I think we can, right? Like I think the path leads us this like everyone that I know that has made a journey or a sojourn of some sort into themselves and into what makes them who they are,
Right.
get down this path. They get down this path, whether it's one step at a time or following a light or whatever it is, get down this path. Um,
There's the end of this story about destiny in Yoruba and Ifa literature, sacred literature. And it's a story of these three friends, and two of them make some decisions, and when they're kind of life, everything is a struggle. One of them makes these other decisions, and things are working out. So the ones where there's a struggle, they're like, "Where did you go to like get your destiny? Like before coming down to earth and being a person, like where'd you? I would have gone there." And the person's like, "We all go to the same place. We all have right this destiny, but each of our destinies is different." And so the things, the practices that support one person kind of finding themselves in their place and this, right, this light or this illumination or this how am I being in the world and the fullness of who I am with meaning and purpose, um, the traditions and the practices can be different, still lead in that direction. And what that means for one person can look very different because that, yes, there's light, but there's expression of that song, movement, care, passion, building things, transforming things, no hair, purple hair, right? These are all these expressions are different. And there's all this like other thing that we're calling light that is also that life generating, which we will see very soon in New England with spring coming. I mean, unfortunately, because of the warm winter, we're seeing a little bit more of that earlier because of climate change. But we see that emergence and unfolding of life again in a different way. It's still been here, but it's been quieter.
Spring is coming.
It's coming, as it does.
Days are getting longer and lighter. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time I get to spend with you. You'll be back on the 23rd.
Yes.
Back on the 23rd, and we'll have more of this conversation. And I know those that are listening are enjoying this very much.
Good.
So,
Good.
so thank you for your time.
Thank you, Babz. May you and all the other listeners have a beautiful, blessed day, time, connected to their own beauty, sense of wonder, mystery, and magic in the world, and others and the beloveds. And may we be freer tomorrow than we were today. May we be freer today than we were yesterday. Say.
Amen. Ashe. Ashe. Amen. Thank you so much, Enroue. I will see you on the 23rd, if not soon.
Right. You will.
Take care. Okay, Harry, the day ends. Thank y'all for tuning in today on a Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, and I've got Frank Mitchell and Connie Royster at 10:15. So we can talk about the Constant Baker Motley exhibition that's going on in the window and Tony Harp Gallery at the Q House. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take good care. Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.